Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Mouse Minds. We are streaming live for you on YouTube. And this week we have sound effects.
We do. That we do.
Oh my God. All right, so we are live for you on YouTube this week, and we are talking this week. We just had some interesting information released today, and I have to pull up the list again because I it's been a few hours since I've seen it. But we were talking about we want to talk about nostalgia, Disney history, things like that. Some of the things that really mean something to us when it comes to Disney history, so on and so forth. But we just had announced what brought up this discussion, I should say, is that we saw the announcement of the panel, the Legends panel, this year for the D23 Disney Legends, and it's a very interesting panel of folks, and I know that we all have our opinions on it, and we'll get into that in just a second here. But before we do that, we also have music this week too. We have some nice Epcot music. If you're at Epcot right now and you're at the entrance, this is what you're listening to probably. Well, I guess you're listening to us. I don't know. But we are here this week joined with Michael and Lisa. Lisa, I'll let you say hey first because you are in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. So, welcome to Orlando.
Yay. Yes. In Orlando. Technically here for a conference, but also vacationing with my family since they're on spring break this week and next. So but yeah, spent the day at Animal Kingdom today. We had a really good day. I'm worn out. We always go park open to park close.
So, did you? I have to ask because we got some major news or let me rephrase that. Major rumors posted today. Did you show Dinoland some love?
We were in Dinoland a little, but probably not as much love as it needed.
Okay. Okay. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, today there's rumors posted because there was permits filed for basically a retheming of Dinoland and a big project coming to Animal Kingdom, which, as much as I hate to see Dinoland go, I think it is definitely needed. Them not having Primeval World over there anymore, and or just the general area itself being kind of low budget, which they kind of said that, when they built it, because they kind of did the same thing at California Adventure. They built out the whole park and then they built the Paradise Pier area, and that was, they have some amazing attractions there, but it wasn't, as heavily themed, and the same with Dinoland. They have some great theming in there, but it's more about the games, and there's no like, other than Dinosaur, there's not really any e-ticket attractions over there. So people have always, well, I've always heard people say that they can do better with Dinoland, and we'll see what the future holds for that area of the park. But there are supposedly major changes coming to that area. I'm assuming I don't have the permits in front of me, but it's a big chunk of Animal Kingdom, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. So how was your day at Animal Kingdom?
It was really good. So 3 of the 7 of us are Floridians, so they were freezing.
Listen, it was 55 this morning, and I had my Spirit jersey on. I had long pants on. I had long socks on. I was freezing.
I had a sweatshirt on and I gave it up to one of them because they were like shivering. Like 55 is warm in Indiana right now. So, we keep going back. We have nice days and, anyways, people were just freezing and lines were surprisingly not horrible. Like we hit all like we went to Safari and Pandora first, and so, like, I always kind of gauge the day, but literally it was like 10-minute wait for Everest. So, like, a lot of things were just super low lines. So I would say that's a really nice win. It just wasn't busy, and The last time I was at Animal Kingdom last year, it was packed. So, it was a very good day. I mean, I even saw a friend, ironically, saw someone that had no idea she was in the park, saw a friend, it was so few people that I actually saw someone I knew. Brianna Stamper from FDV Global, or the travel agency that I was affiliated with. I looked over
Mhm.
and I thought, "Oh my gosh, is that," and she looked at me, we locked eyes, and she's, "Oh my gosh!" Like, it was, w of all the tens of thousands of people, you find somebody you actually know outside of, Disney World life. But yeah, it was really good. Um,
That park has had pretty good wait times, during the week. It's
yeah,
not as it's not as packed as a lot of I mean, personally, I've been looking at the numbers for that park, um, for a while because I've kind of been because it's seen almost like a decline, like, there's just not a lot of people. I mean, personally, like me, I'd rather go to Epcot, I mean, and I think that's kind of the general
well,
consensus
and
for everyone,
that's yeah,
but
that's
it's
what they
good for if
said.
you wanna ride the rides.
Yeah, that's what Brianna and Adam said. The rest of their big party that was there was at, Epcot today. And I said, "Well, we went with what, um, my best friend's daughter, she wanted to go."
Mhm,
And so that's what we did. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. We got to do every big ticket item in the park, and then some, and then some of the things we did twice. So it was, for me, that was a big win of a day. But
mhm.
the crowd level was so far down. I was shocked, especially considering I had even some of my cast member friends saying, "Oh no, you're coming during Florida spring break. That's not a good idea. You shouldn't come." And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't pick when conferences occur. So, but
It's even
yeah,
Well,
here, like a lot of the schools are off last week. So I think it's not the
yeah,
entire state of Florida, it's by
yeah.
county.
yeah, it was a very enjoyable day. I know that that's not everyone's favorite park, but forever that has been one that my family has loved. Like, they still remember, like, the parades and some of the things that are gone from there. We
Mhm.
do we remember the parades that are gone. We It's kind of, they were asking, "Well, do you still meet characters here, and do you still go here?" And a lot of the stuff that they remembered when they were younger, it just doesn't exist anymore. So, and we always struggle with finding places to eat there for us too. So, we actually went off property for dinner because we couldn't find anything that really hit all 7 people.
There's too many nice restaurants just off property that you can go to,
Mhm.
especially with a car. No reason to settle for that
Yeah, that one
awful, terrible
is
food.
that park is very close to 192, so you can definitely find something to
Right,
eat on 192 that is
Edible.
really good and also a lot less than Disney. But I mean, Disney does have some great restaurants at Animal Kingdom.
right.
You kind of have to be in the mood for them, though. I mean, like, what is it? Tusker House is very good, but you kind of have to be in the mood for Tusker House because it's a character meal and there's a lot going on there, and it's kind of like a big meal. But there are some great finds back there. It's been a while since I've been to Animal Kingdom, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know what, like, I don't know why I don't go there. I have no, like, I like the park. I guess with everything, I think the thing with Animal Kingdom is there's always something going on at Epcot. There's a festival or something that I
Mhm.
want to go to, and even at the festivals, it's like you can't do everything in one day, and you want to try all the food, and like you continually go back to Epcot just because of the fact that there's like a festival or something going on, and there's not really anything going on at Animal Kingdom. It's the same. It's just you're there for the rides. So, and even with Hollywood, sometimes they have things going on there, and Magic Kingdom is Magic Kingdom. I mean, everyone wants to go there, but I don't know. I just never have an urge to go to Animal Kingdom, but I think I need to change that because I definitely enjoy that park. And what is the burger place back in Dinoland? They just got Impossible Burgers too,
Oh,
so I was gonna go check that out because they have an amazing
yeah.
toppings bar.
Well, they had, yeah, say that restaurant
Burgersaurus, I think.
tourists. Yeah, that's where we often go because it's
Hmm.
got a variety for all of the kids, but they all just agree. They're all teenagers. They don't want to go there anymore. So they've outgrown the bucket kids meal and all that fun stuff that they have there. But I we did the very last thing that we did for the day. We all had to say goodbye to "It's Tough to Be a Bug." Um, so because I don't know that we'll be back before it's gone, and it was mixed reviews. I always like it just because of the reactions of everyone.
When they get
So,
stung.
yeah. Or even at the
Yeah.
end, like the 17-year-old that we had with us, it was his first time. He was like, "Did everyone feel that?" He he couldn't figure out what was on the chair underneath him, and
So so the next time you go back to I don't know if I've said this before, but if you go back to uh what is it? What is the oh my gosh. I have not been to Animal Kingdom in a while. It's driving me nuts. In the back of the park there, Harambe Market. If you go to
Mhm.
Harambe Market in the back, across the street from Harambe, then there's amazing food in Harambe Market. All those vendors
Right.
have pretty amazing food, even vegetarian options too. But if you cross the street from Harambe Market, there is Zuri's Sweet Shop. Now, if
Yes.
you actually go into the sweet shop, there's like a cork board in there with a bunch of photos and everything else. That is actually a real sweet shop from Africa, and the lady that is in the pictures is actually Zuri. She's like this older lady, and there's
Hmm.
quite a very interesting story with that. So next time you're in the shop, take a look at that and enjoy that little bit of Disney magic there, the theming that they brought along with that, which is actually really cool. When you look at the stuff, it's when you see the photos and everything else, it's actually very cool that they put that little detail in there because they didn't have to. They could have just built a generic candy shop, but they wanted to
Right.
actually have some theme, and they brought this back, and that's really awesome.
Well, and we rode the train back to Rafiki's Planet Watch, and they were like, "Match the feces to the species. Is that for real, mom?" And it made me think back to when they did have the
Yep.
chocolate. And I was like, "You could have bought different chocolates in the shape of" at
So
one point.
So true story about that. When that became available, I was one of the first ones to actually try that. And at the time, I had my website, and I posted about it on there, and it got picked up by like CNN and like other like major media outlets, and the poop lasted about a week or so before it was gone because you got a range of people from people that were happy and snickering and thought it was the greatest thing in the world to people who were disgusted and utterly mortified that Disney would serve something like that. So
Right.
Disney just did not want the scandal, I guess, and just got rid of it completely.
Right.
But it was very good. I can tell you, I tried it. It was very tasty.
Yeah, and there's not, there again, it was not busy. I don't know that Rafiki's Planet Watch area is ever super busy, but there were a few
Which is
people lined
crazy
up.
because they have the goats. You can go back there and pet
Oh,
goats.
I know. Oh, the kids were all they went and saw the goats. Like, we're from Indiana. These are not, goats are fairly common. Like, so you would think that there were so many goats, Mom. Okay, okay.
I get it.
But yeah, they did enjoy that. And my one of my kiddos wants to be a veterinarian. So
Okay.
that was interesting to see that part. So like we didn't hit all the education pieces that
Hmm.
you can do there for sure. And some folks like Michael believe that it's a half day park or less. Like some people zoom in, zoom out for a couple of attractions and they are gone. But we've always like when but we've also the kids have been hundreds and hundreds of days. Like we had annual passes for years and
So
years.
so
So
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I just we've been a lot, and so to go back and revisit some of those things and take the
Mhm.
time, um, you know, they've all written almost everything before. The new part today was kind of nice to have someone that was their first time to see the tree of life. Is that real? Like all those questions that you have that you kind of forget, until you have somebody that's brand new. But
Tell them it's a giant oil rig. They'll never believe you.
right,
So no, what I was going to say was, Animal Kingdom has tried for years to be a nighttime park. They have tried to be a nighttime park, and I really do believe that Animal Kingdom can be a nighttime park. Um, the only problem that they have is, number one, the animals. You know, sleeping schedules. They can't really do fireworks shows at the parks there because of the animals. So there's no nighttime shows are kind of out. They tried in the past with the I can't think of the name of the show that was on the water. But they tried in the past kind of with that to have that, and they've tried other nighttime or other shows inside the park there. And now the biggest area of the park that of course is best for nighttime is Pandora, because Pandora is built for night. All of the
it's
land itself
beautiful.
is iridescent and it glows, and they have black lights everywhere, so it's absolutely beautiful at night. So
Mhm.
my hope would be that they can create something that lends itself to being a nighttime park, because I think that Animal Kingdom could most certainly be a full day park. I think, a couple more attractions and it could definitely be something that's a full day park. I mean, honestly, like, before like Galaxy's Edge and some of the in like Toy Story Land, Hollywood Studios wasn't really an all day park, in my
Right.
opinion.
It
So
wasn't.
they just need a couple, couple areas, and I think they can really, because they have some great restaurants at um, Animal Kingdom. I mean, you have Tiffin's, you have like I said earlier, Tusker House, which is great, Restaurantosaurus, which is great. So I mean, it could definitely be something great for a full day. And of course, getting on to Pandora, the Flight of the Avatar, and then doing all the attractions in there, and a Navi River boat ride, which is a fantastic attraction. So there's a lot there's a lot to do there, and with this, hopefully with this new expansion, it'll make it a full day park. But the animals are kind of like the icing on the cake now. It used to be all about the animals. It used to be all about the encounters. It used to be about seeing the huge bat and seeing the petting the goats at the affection section and all these things on Rafiki's Planet Watch and doing all this stuff. And that's great, but that's not really the focus anymore. They still have that stuff, but they've kind of gone away from it. Which is good because they do need. I think with a couple e-ticket attractions, they could be, or a couple e-ticket attractions and maybe some smaller attractions in that area. They could really become an all day park.
I think and there are things built in that could be all day. Like for some of the families, I saw them getting stamps, and doing the different
Hmm.
activities throughout the park. I asked the kids early on if they wanted to do that. Nope. They were very clear.
The
Nope, we're not
wilderness must not be explored.
no. I mean, they used to do it when they were littler, but nope, that's not even a thing anymore. So like there are some fun things that are built in that maybe you can do once or twice
Mhm,
or but I would love to see it, and I love to be there at night because
mhm.
sometimes it is so stinking hot during the day that I enjoy all the parks at night because of the lack of heat. So I like the heat, but a lot of times we come down in July, again when kids are out and nothing like that heat. But they close at 7 tonight. 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. were the hours,
I
and that's
will
so
say
early.
this animal and the only negative about Animal Kingdom that I can really think of is the heat. that park is like a jungle. It just gets really hot, and it just you have all this shrubbery and nature. Kind of, I mean, it kind of looks like a jungle. It kind of is a jungle, but it traps all that humidity. It's probably the most humid park at Disney, and it can get very very hot in the summer.
Yeah, I love it for that, for the same thing that makes it really hot. It's the same reason why I love it, because it's walking out into, you really feel immersed into the jungles of Africa, or it's really good. But yeah,
I, I,
that was our day.
so I can't remember what the summer hours are for Animal Kingdom, because especially as it starts getting
Yeah.
darker later, you can't close at 7 and say, "Hey, look, we have this beautiful Pandora all lit up and the Tree of Life show."
It's
So
usually like
is it till
9.
9 at least?
It's usually at 9,
Do they still do
8
the
or
Tree of
9.
Life show?
I Do they still have the tree? We didn't do that. I don't
I
know if
don't.
they still have
Yeah.
it. I
I don't.
didn't see it on the schedule for the day, so in my mind, they just didn't do it right now.
Remember, it's not a set thing where it starts
Right.
at this time. It's they do it for 5 minutes. They'll show a little
Yeah, of
bit, and
course.
then it lights up, and it's just on and off. There's no
Yep.
set schedule.
Yeah, it's like the show that it's like the show. Well, they do the same thing at Epcot with
Right, with the
spaceship
ball.
lighting
Sure.
it up. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I can't remember. Maybe that's only a summer thing. Maybe I don't know. I
And then we
don't.
saw it for Christmas, and I'm not, like you said, I don't go to that park anymore. And if I do,
Yeah.
we're done in an hour. We just
Yeah.
do a loop. It's one I could just skip the attractions and just get some steps in and leave.
Oh, yeah. I can't do that. I like dinosaur. I like Everest.
It
I do
depends on the
like
wait time. If there's no wait,
at
I'll
the end
jump
of the
on
day. Yeah.
dinosaur. But if there's a wait, I'm not sticking
Right.
around
Well, and
Yeah.
today
45 minutes.
dinosaur was 10 minutes or less.
Oh
Yep.
So
wow,
so many things were just crazy, like very, very slow.
that's
You know,
crazy.
so today was, I told the kids, I like, they went on Everest back to back.
Hmm.
Do it now. Like,
Yeah.
do it today, because, you know, when do you get a 10-minute Everest wait?
Yeah. Everest
Especially
back
when
to
you come
back is
back
a
in the
treat.
summer. It's over.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Doing Everest back to back is definitely a treat. That is definitely something that everyone will enjoy. The only thing I don't like about Everest, or sorry, about Animal Kingdom, is their amount of Landry's restaurants inside the park. Because I'm sorry, I've given Landry's so many chances, but Rainforest and all the Landry restaurants are just they're just not good. They're not. They used to
Nobody
be
should
good.
eat it.
They're not.
You don't go to the rainforest ever. I
No.
mean, it's more for kids and for the experience, but the food is just abysmal.
Yeah.
So there's
I
better
agree.
options
Yeah.
out there. I mean, Lisa had to leave the property to go get a decent meal because even she knew to skip
Right.
rainforest.
And when they were little, like we've done rainforest, we've done
Hmm.
T-Rex, we've done all of those.
Yak
Like
and
when they were
Yeti.
little, for the experience, when we needed time to cool off, and
Hmm.
but we also knew that the food was going to be subpar, but we were going to be paying a premium price. Well, not
Absolutely.
premium, but more than you should
Yeah.
When I
for
was
that
living
food.
in New York, in New Jersey, we had one right in at one of the malls near me, and I didn't go when it was local, so I certainly wasn't going to fly to
Yeah.
Florida to eat there.
And they, I mean, they do have the Yak and Yeti restaurant in the back, which is nice. But again, it's not, it's a Landry's restaurant, and it's not the best. I mean, people rave about the tuna nachos. You will hear people talk about that left and right about how amazing the tuna nachos are and everything else that they have going on there. But I've never had a meal there that was just like, oh my god, I have to come back. It's the only time I think I've ever sat there and said, hey, this is the best food ever, is when I'm starving.
Yep.
But you could, but honestly though, if you don't mind the price, you don't mind the experience of having characters. If you walk right down the street to Tusker House and do Tusker House, you get a much, much, much better meal, because you get a nice. The thing with Tusker House is it's not just like a regular, um, buffet. They have the regular buffet items like the meat carving station and the pastas and things like that. But they also have it's like African inspired too. So you have some of the African dishes that you would get at Boma in in Tusker House, and it's actually really good food, and they do a really good job of that. So if you are looking for somewhere to eat, I highly suggest that. And Tiffin's is an excellent choice too, for a fine dining meal. I've only eaten there a couple of times, but both times that I've been there, it's been absolutely fantastic. Now it's not a less expensive meal, but it is a very nice meal for what you pay for, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't think we had, well, we had one, two, five teenagers, so Tiffin's wasn't like my best friend and I were like, "Oh, that would be so good. We should go there." No.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. And Tusker House has, they have the characters, so
Mhm.
again, I'm in a different season. Like it's a strange kind of a season. They would have been happy with Pizza Fari, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know pizza, I know pizza. But you know, but you're right. Those two restaurants, Tiffin's and Tusker House, definitely would have been good choices given a different mixture of our of
Mhm.
our crew.
No, I completely understand, and I know people rave about uh the barbecue inside Animal Kingdom as well. Um,
Yeah,
at
Flame
that park,
Tree.
but yeah, Flame Tree. But I've again, something I've tried numerous times throughout the years. Never been a huge fan of it. I do like Restaurantosaurus though. Their toppings bar is amazing. Like it is so good, and they have so many options for you for your burgers, so on and so forth. So I'm a fan all the way. And now that I see that they have Impossible Burgers, I am that was my my reason to go back because I am all for that. And I've had Pizza Fari too. There's nothing wrong with Pizza Fari, but Pizza Fari is the typical frozen, because I've seen them make this. Like at Fort Wilderness one time when I was camping there, they have a little snack shop at the Meadows, and they have those same pizzas. And I literally saw the girl pull the pizza out of the freezer, put it in a toaster oven, and warm it up. So it is literally like a frozen pizza. They don't let
Yes.
them fool you. They're not making those like fresh, or I'm sure there's probably a central kitchen that makes those. They freeze them and then send them out to the parks or wherever
Mhm.
else to do that. Um, the only thing I like about Pizza Fari is the fact that your pizza comes with a salad and like a drink, and it's like a whole meal. But yeah, other than that, it's not great pizza.
Right.
Somebody who
I
loves
say
people,
it's
you know.
yeah, it's property pizza. Like
Yep.
it's not Via Napoli or some like, some nice pizza.
Exactly. But if you do go a little bit further back, and we've really gone on a tangent on Animal Kingdom here. But um, if you do go a little bit further back to Satuli's Canteen, they actually have some really good food there. They cook up the meats on the grill. They're constantly grilling the meats. They have tofu if you're a vegetarian. And they have some the most amazing dressings. And there was like I can't remember, there was one that I really loved, but they also have fish and everything else there as well. And they all cook it all on the grill, and they put it in a rice bowl, and all of it is just fantastic. It's just amazing, amazing, amazing food. I'm trying to quote the menu to yeah, the chimichurri sauce. The chimichurri sauce is really good. So and then they have a crispy fried tofu bowl. It's all fantastic, but that is another place where you can get a nice. There's a couple places in Animal Kingdom where you can get a nice counter service meal, which is which the thing about Animal Kingdom is, it's when you go to most parks and you get a counter service meal, it's like burgers and fries for the most part. So it's nice to have like options at Animal Kingdom that are not burgers and fries, because or like pizza, because you get kind of tired of that. But Animal Kingdom has some variety.
I agree. That's where we stopped when we were over there this morning was Satuli Canteen. That we like that place too. So
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better options inside the park. But like I said, there's even some of the snack carts. There's some great snack carts there as well. But I could talk to you forever about the food at Animal Kingdom because there's actually some really good food there. But so on Michael, how are you doing? We started with Lisa. How are you doing this week, Michael? 30 minutes in and we haven't even got to Michael yet.
No, we're good. We're all good. I enjoying the fact that I can't use my pass this week, even though they blocked everyone out and there are no crowds. Thank you, Disney, for doing that.
It was crowded on Saturday at Epcot. Let me tell you, it was packed.
Yes, I wouldn't do the weekend,
Yeah,
but no, I'll take a random Tuesday. Even tonight, we said, "Hey, we'll drive up to Disney." Oh no, wait, we can't. So I'll
yeah.
go back in April.
Spring break. Yeah, that's no good.
Yep.
But trust me, the weekend it was crazy. So avoid Epcot on the weekends because everyone's there for the Flower and Garden.
Mhm.
It's beautiful, but there is lines galore for everything. And I will say, I'm really impressed with Disney this year. They have 18 vegetarian items on the menus for the Flower and Garden booths, and I've tried a lot of them, and all of them are delicious. So I cannot wait to go back.
I was going through the booklet. I couldn't believe how many they actually had this year.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
they're
incredible that they
really
did that.
they have this partnership with Impossible Meat. In the past, they've kind of done some really s- stupid things with it. But now they're doing the right things because at one I say stupid, but at one point I think it was during Food and Wine, they were offering a ramen bowl that featured Impossible sausage but had a chicken broth, which makes no sense. If you're gonna put the fake meat in there, why are you gonna put chicken broth in there? And it just I was like it blew my mind. But think at that point their whole point of doing Impossible Meat was to show people that there are alternatives and kind of get them turned on to that, and because they were advertising how it's better for the planet and everything else. That was kind of the point of that. But still, I don't know why you'd put chicken broth in what could be a potentially nice vegetarian dish. But since then, I mean, a lot of people were upset about that. I saw it online, and since then they've kind of switched to doing everything or just whenever they use Impossible Meat, they they use it as a vegetarian option. And I will say, if you do go to Epcot for Flower and Garden, please get the Impossible meatballs. They are incredible. All right, but moving on.
What was the? Is
Go
there,
ahead.
oh, I was going to say, was there? What's the prize at the end? Did you do those stamps? Do you get enough of the vegetarian meals, and they give you something if you collect enough
I
stamps?
have
What are they
not
giving out this year?
tried. I have not completed that yet. I have to look at my guidebook. I did not know that was in there. I thought maybe that was the thing for this year. I don't know. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
Usually
Okay.
the prize is a dessert. You get some sort of a dessert. I'm assuming that they'll probably give you the Dole Whip because there's like multiple flavors of Dole Whip, so maybe want something to do with that. But it's usually dessert is what they give you. But I I have to look at my map because I didn't have them stamp anything on there, and I feel like I
Hmm.
missed out. But I mean, I'll eat the stuff again anyways. But
Good. I figured you'll be
yeah, of
back.
course. But yeah, there are a lot of options, and don't be afraid to try them too. Especially if you go to if you're looking for something a little more heartier. And in between Canada and the port of entry, there's the refreshment port, and they have a buffalo chicken impossible meat poutine, and it is fantastic. It's vegan. I don't know how, but it is vegan, and it is absolutely fantastic. But going on to our topic this week. So we got a list today of the Disney legends that are coming to D23 this year, and it is quite a a interesting list here. It kind of spans all of it. It spans basically everything that Disney owns. And I'm just gonna go through the list right here. So we have Colleen Atwood, who is costume design, Angela Bassett, film and television, Martha Blanding, Parks and Resorts, James L. Brooks, television, James Cameron, we all know James Cameron, Jamie Lee Curtis, we all know Jamie Lee Curtis, Miley Cyrus, Steve Ditko is in publishing, Harrison Ford, Mark Hinn, animation, Frank Oz, Kelly Ripa, we all know Kelly Ripa, Joe Rode, Rhodey, everybody knows Joe Rhodey, and then John Williams, of course, the man behind some of the greatest music ever created. And then, of course, this is hosted by Ryan Seacrest. So this will be the 2024 class of Disney Legends that was announced for today. And I have to say, it is a pretty solid list. I already saw, some criticism of it online because there wasn't enough people from like animation and things like that. But I think this is a pretty solid list of people who contributed to Disney. I'm really shocked to kind of see, Imagineering and things like that, people like that being added to the list in there too. So it should be, especially Joe Rody has the most amazing stories. Like that man can tell a story. So that'll be, I look forward to. Uh, I'm assuming they'll have a panel for this. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, there's a ceremony, so they'll all be a part of the ceremony. I'm sure there'll be great stories told, and it'll be really cool to see all these people in person. How do you feel about this, Michael?
See, and for all the people that were crying that there's not enough animation, I love the mix. I love the fact that they've got so many departments and they're not just doing animation. I know one year, I guess they had nobody else and they just started sticking like every princess voice in there. And I'm not sure that's the way you go with the class. You know, you do a couple here, you do a couple next year, a couple next year if you're planning. I think they were also running out of people so much that they went from an annual thing to a biannual, and they'll do this every other year now
Huh.
instead of every year. I collect autographs from the legends. I have a pretty decent set from most of the people that have been recognized and are not deceased. So to have somebody random like a Martha Blanding on there is awesome for me. You know, those are the people that love getting letters and go, holy cow, somebody wants my autograph. I'm nobody.
Yeah,
But, you know, to be recognized like this, it's fantastic for her.
yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I mean, I could think of people. The problem is the Disney Corporation is so huge. It's really hard to pin down people that how do you cut down a list? I mean, there's so many people that have contributed to so many things that make make our everything magical. And I'm sure it's very hard to break down I mean, I can't even imagine who does that because I don't know if it's voted on or what, but I can imagine it's very hard because there's so many amazing talents at Disney. I mean, so many amazing talents. The things that are coming out of Disney right now, even some of the research and development stuff is absolutely insane. So, Lisa, how do you feel about
I was actually just looking through the list since I was at Disney today. I didn't know until you guys were saying that everything was announced. So I don't know if I have an opinion yet. But I was looking. I mean, as usual, I squirreled because I had to read Martha Blanding's story. Because there were some names on there that were interesting to me for the 2024 honorees. So I don't know. To be decided.
And I don't think the event's until August. So I guess
Right. It
if
said
they want to sell tickets, yeah, is it August?
August 9th to 11th. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Anaheim. And it said, um, yeah, tickets go on sale for gold members at the end of the month. So, yeah. I have never attended a D23 in person. I always wanted to, but I also like waiting in those long lines and I don't know if that's for me. So,
you really going to any expo, you really have to commit because you're right.
mhm.
You're going to be waiting in lines. You're going to be waiting. The last time I went to MegaCon, it was basically just you had two options. You could go down to the main floor and walk around all the shops and different booths and see what they had to offer, or you could wait for panels. And literally, like you spend your whole day just waiting to get into panels. It's like from
Yes.
one panel to the next, one panel to the next. That's
Yes.
why I honestly prefer when they do things like the Destination D, because Destination D is a set schedule and you go from one panel to the next to the next to the next, but you always have a spot. You're not necessarily fighting and everything's scheduled. So you know it's going to be a full day of panels. You're not waiting, you know, in long lines to get in. They just open the doors and you're in because they basically sell so many tickets. But you're right, with the D23 Expo, it is, and it is kind of a choose your own adventure too. You got to choose what panels you want to attend, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it can be, you know, expos like that can be. I mean, obviously, I have not attended the D23 Expo. I've attended other expos, but not the D23 Expo because I haven't really done it out here. So I haven't had the opportunity yet. But I want to go, and I will go. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. But yeah, you're right. The D23 Expo, you really got to pick and choose. Kind of plan out what panels you want to see, where you want to go, and you just get in line and you wait because it's if you want to get good seats, you just get there early and wait unless you have like the VIP pass or anything like that. But I understand completely.
Right. And you're right. Most of the Comic Cons and like any of the expos, you prepare to wait. But I
And you have
think
to
it was worth it.
prioritize too. You got to make
Yeah,
sure that this is the what I want to go to because I'm probably going to miss, a quarter of the events. So what do I want to see? What do I need to do?
Mhm.
yeah, and
That
then
would
and
be
then
really
two
hard.
and then two, I give major kudos to people who are in costume. If you are cosplaying at these events, my hat's off to you because not only being in costume all day and then going from uh, panel to panel or being at the expo, people wanting to take photos with you, 'cause it always happens. And then, of course, going from panel and waiting for the panels, being in these, heavy outfits all day, it can definitely be a lot. I don't know how a lot of these people do it, but more power to them. That's pretty awesome. Now, speaking of legends, because we are kind of doing a nostalgia, we'll go with a nostalgia theme today. Um, let's let's do it this way. Let's do. I'm gonna take it this way for the last because we've already gone 45 minutes in the show here. So for about the last 15 minutes here, I'm gonna let us do our top two historic attractions, speaking of nostalgia, that we would bring back to any park. It could be any park. It could be Walt Disney World. It could be Disneyland. It could be anywhere around the world. Completely up to you guys, but I will let you guys go. And just to give you guys a break, unless you already have um, answers already, I will go first. So my number one nostalgic attraction, which I wish they would bring back, but I don't think they ever will. And I wish they would do it in some shape or form, but I don't think they ever will. Is Horizon. I love Horizons. Horizons was the best ride ever invented. It was cool for so many reasons because number one, it was a continuation of basically Carousel Progress, which was already amazing. B, it was a very fun look at what the future could actually be like, and they got a lot of things right in there. Of course, they were working with companies to promote some of this new technology that was coming out, so on and so forth. So they were very good at what they were doing. Um, and number three, it was just an excellent ride. I mean, cruising through, kind of floating in the air in your little cart there, and then having the giant IMAX screens and the giant scenes that you saw in there. I mean, the scene work in that ride was absolutely incredible. I mean, there's just so many amazing, the the Jules Verne in the moon, with the face on the moon and then the rocket in the moon, the giant huge IMAX screens at the time, which were insane, with the rocket going off and then showing the the chips, the computer chips, and everything else, and then capping everything off, and not only seeing all that stuff, but having a storyline throughout the line, a cohesive storyline that carried you all the way to the end, where you saw a glimpse of the future, and each you got to see different. Uh, you got to see a family that was basically split up into different. Some lived under the sea, some lived in space, some lived in the city, some lived in the field, and you got to see all that kind of wrap up together at the end, and then you got to, at the end, choose your own adventure. So it was a really intricate attraction that, you know, they I don't I haven't seen anything in recent times that is as good, in my opinion, of as Horizons. It's just there hasn't been any attractions that have been that intricate and had that much of a story around it. In my opinion. Now, your opinion may vary. But my number two, I will say that I wish we could have back, is the People Mover at Disneyland. I wish we could have the People Mover back at Disneyland. I know they took it out and they put in the rocket rods, and that was just not a great experience, because those tracks were not built for cars that were going that fast, and it caused a lot of cracking and structural problems and so on and so forth. So they had, with the banking and everything else, they had to scrap that. Honestly, rocket rods didn't look like that amazing of attraction anyways. You went fast for 2 seconds and you had to stop and hit the brake. But the People Mover, I mean, that's iconic to Disney parks. That was iconic to um, Disneyland. I wish some way. I mean, they already have the track there. I wish they would find some way to bring that back and we can have that back, because I have to admit, Tomorrowland, parts of Tomorrowland at Disneyland feel very barren, and they feel very kind of like back alley-ish, because there's like nothing there. Like, you go back in these like hidden pathways, and there's really, there's like you, stuff used to be there, but it's not there now. So I wish that they would show Tomorrowland some love at Disneyland. But those really are my two. I mean, I could go on with more. I mean, I'd love to have subs back at Disney World, but that'll never happen. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but those are my main two. So who wants to go next?
Yeah, so you took mine there with Toad. That's one of those things. And I think the reason I look back at these things is because I was young when they were there, and I don't think I fully appreciated them. I don't have vivid memories of them to say, okay, I really missed this. Toad was great, and especially having the two tracks, because when I went out and did it in Disneyland, you need that second track. You need that near collision. You need the two different stories. Yep. So definitely bring that one back. And for me, same deal when you're saying Horizons or even the old Journey into Imagination, just because I don't remember them. And I know what I have now with that horrible version. And to bring the other one back, it's a no-brainer. You swap that out. But even Horizons, watching the videos online isn't doing it justice for the magnitude. I mean, those, or even World of Motion, the show scenes on that thing were huge. And for the amount of animatronics they had and everything going on, you had to go through a couple of times to catch everything. So I think those, with my ABC there, definitely Toad, and then any of those other old Epcot attractions need to come back.
And you're right about those giant teams. They were absolutely fantastic. And Toad, yes, Toad. I mean, thankfully we still are holding on to Toad at Disneyland, but still, yes, that one is. And I mean, yeah, I'd rather have Toad than what we have now.
Right. I mean, everything that they took out, even the taking out Snow White to put in another meet and greet. I mean, at least they're inside. They're cooler. You don't have to worry about finding shade. You don't have to worry about putting them outside. But do they have merchandise at the end of that? I don't know. Or is that just
at the end of Toad?
No, at the end of the meet and greet at Princess Hall. I don't know.
Yes, I think so. Well, they have Sir Mickey's, which is that way.
Right, which is near there. So okay.
But you're also right too about the the scenes inside um imagination, because what we have now, I mean, it's better than what we had in the like 2000 version with like the laser scan and all that, whatever that was. Um, but what we have now is a shell of what we had in the past, and we had, not only the awesomeness that was that amazing attraction, which was really groundbreaking at the time because it was constantly moving and floating cars, and there was the technology that was pretty crazy. But those scenes in there, some of those scenes with the Dream Finder, and they every room invoked, a different type of feeling. There was, when you went like in the room where he was cranking the cameras and you saw the water droplet and he was talking about it, was almost kind of eerie. Or when and then there was like the happy rooms, and it just it invoked all kinds of emotion and really sparked your imagination. And then of course we had the upstairs, which is basically still upstairs anyways. They didn't really remove any of it. But they, some things they did, but not all of it. They still have some remnants up there, but that upstairs was the icing on the cake. I mean, you had the amazing attraction, and you went upstairs, and there was all this fun to do upstairs, and it was an amazing attraction. I don't know why they don't show Figment more love, because he's clearly a part of Epcot. Like, he is like the Epcot mascot. Like, there is no whenever you think of Epcot and mascot, you instantly think of Figment. Like, even people that have never been or don't really go to Disney think of Figment as the Epcot mascot. So why he does not get the love that he deserves is beyond me, because I mean, even his meet and greet is still packing people in there. I always see lines for the meet and greet. So why he gets no love is beyond me. I don't understand. I don't know if they're thinking about what they want to do. I don't know if they're afraid that whatever they'll do will never appease the fans unless it's like a direct copy of what was there before. But then again, as they say, as we say more and more these days, we all have the Mandela effect. So what we actually remember versus what was actually true may be two different things. So maybe they think if they do bring it back and it's a shot for shot remake, then everyone will be like, "Well, this is not as great as I remember as a kid," and then they'll hate it. But who knows? But all I'm saying is, please, 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 Disney, if you're listening, I know everyone says this. Please put some love into that attraction, because it is an amazing attraction, and we all love it. I don't, and honestly, now we don't love it. And that scene in there where Figment says it's a blast, and my daughter will not ride that ride because of that scene, because it's just so loud. And there's a lot of people I've talked to in the same boat that they don't like that attraction because of that one scene. So things like that, they can, but it needs some love. Let's leave it at that.
Well, I think you're right with the
Needs a
Mandela bit because the whole reason why Horizons went away is because nobody wrote it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think you'd have that initial burst of, "My God, this is awesome to go back on it." But then when you're on, like, it's 30 minutes of my life that I'm not going to
Yeah.
get back now. And it was cool to see,
Well,
but do I need this every time I come?
Horizons was a little bit different, because Horizons was more of the effect of the sponsorship. Sponsorships were huge back in the day for Epcot. You didn't have a ride without a sponsorship. And they still do sponsorships to this day. And when Horizons lost its GE sponsorship, that was basically it for them, because people were riding the ride. It was still a popular attraction. It was just that they didn't want to sink any money into it to upgrade it, and it needed repairs and so on and so forth. And obviously, eventually, they have to upgrade it. They can't keep it the same because technology gets a lot better. But there was a lot of issues with it. And then, of course, there was the notorious sinkhole issue, which there was basically like a sinkhole underneath there too, which was causing issues too. So there's a lot of things going on with that too. Um, or so they just built something new and fix the issues. But yeah, I wish they would bring back Horizons. I think they could do it now and make an amazing attraction. But let's go to Lisa, because we've gone off on a tangent here. Lisa, what are your two?
So attractions wise, I would have said Horizons. Um, but you just stole that one. No, just kidding. Um, but I was thinking about some of the other ones. I mean, I still like the Great Movie Ride. I
Oh
know
yeah.
it's not been gone long. Might be too fresh to say that. I do like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Okay.
I do. I like that. I enjoy that very much. But I still, it's kind of hard to believe that Great Movie Ride is gone.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
so
feel
I
like
would say those would be honestly, those are probably my two big ones because there are some attractions that have closed. Mr. Toad's a little bit traumatizing, as is Snow White when you have little kids. So, like, those are attractions I think, it's okay. I
so?
get why. I understand they're still good, but I'm like, yeah, we can still go see those.
Do you feel like I felt like as much as I enjoyed the Great Movie Ride and what those movies were that were in there, I think that they had reached a point with that attraction just based on newer generations
Yeah,
where they could not do that right anymore because newer generations cannot relate to Wizard of Oz. They cannot
right.
relate to the old gangster movies. They've never seen those films. I mean, it was, I hate to say it, but it became basically a history museum
It
because
really
you were rolling
was.
through and now if they would have updated it and made it more modern and added some of the newer films in there, that would have been awesome. But I just think that although it was a great attraction, I don't think anyone could relate to it because of the fact that those movies were so old. Some of those scenes in there, like when they showed the scene of the old movies where they would swim and do the swimming and all that stuff. Like that's pretty old stuff. Like I get it
It
from a
is.
history standpoint of telling the story of where movies came from and where they are now. But then again, even when they got to the point where movies are now, basically what we got at the end of the ride towards the end there was a video of movie clips from recent films. It wasn't built out scenes.
Right. I know. I think those are all valid points. It's just again, that nostalgia, for me, that was a big part of all the movies of my lifetime. My children, mm, didn't relate so much. So, big difference.
Yeah, I completely understand, and uh, with Hollywood studios, it's one of those things too, where it's like that whole park is designed into an era. That whole park is a certain era of time when Hollywood was bustling, and it was it meant something to be on the silver screen, as they say. So you know, I mean, even that kind of doesn't relate to the newer generation. They kind of have to be explained, what Hollywood Studios is, or at least that main, the entrance to Hollywood Studios, that whole area there, Streets of Hollywood, area there. They have to kind of be explained because they didn't, you know, they're
Right.
not going to know what that is. I mean, they do have the relatable things in there like Toy Story, Star Wars, all those things in there as well, but but then again, they have that area that's not really, you know the current generation wouldn't really know that much about.
Right. And, things like the backlot tour or the stunt
Mhm,
show, the car stunt show. I can't think of the name of that. Like some of the things my kids do remember doing those things,
mhm.
but it's been a long time since they've seen any of that. So, you know, a lot of those things that were staples for many years are being phased out for those reasons. It's not relatable necessarily to the current generation, whereas all the things they've added are.
Yeah, and two, I certainly miss the days when Hollywood Studios was a live TV studio. I miss the days when they used to film the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse there. I miss all those days. I really do. But then again, when you think about it, even if they were a working television studio, what are they recording for? They're going to be recording for, some sort of streaming service, Disney Plus or whatever else. And, you know, I mean, it was fun when it was like live tapings and they were taping for TV and everything else. But they just, they don't really do. Hollywood has changed so much that what Hollywood studios used to be about is not really about anymore, and it's changing very rapidly now with AI and everything else and what we can create. So they had to kind of evolve with the times. You're right, and then they instead of really evolving, they kind of just went with their own IPs, which I totally get. It's a Hollywood park. Why not use your own IPs?
All right. So, Lisa, what time are you getting up tomorrow morning now?
Not early. I
Yeah.
have tomorrow's session. I have to be there at 11. Runs 12 to 6:30, and it's a cadaver lab. So I know that that's
Tomorrow's a
not
work
very
day.
Disney. So tomorrow is a work day. It is not a park day. Kids will be hanging out and swimming and doing all the fun things around here, lazy river and all that fun stuff. So yeah, tomorrow is a work day. Really cool work day for me. Not super exciting to the most of the world,
Yeah.
but
So, do you have any plans for the rest of the week, like any restaurants or anything like that, or just kind of like winging it and going as you?
well, tomorrow night, I have some friends that want to meet at Disney Springs because Brian Malpass is singing, and they said come see. And then Thursday and Friday night, there's a couple other folks around town that may be available. But I have nothing set in stone. That's what a lot of the times I fly by the seat of my pants. So, um, and this is one of those trips. This isn't a well thought out anything. We may go to the
So,
beach Friday day, during the day. I don't know.
So what Lisa is
'Cause
saying is she's the exception to the rule because we've gone on and on and on about how you have to plan your trip out thoroughly when you go to Disney. But then Lisa just shows us all up, goes to Animal Kingdom's Day, rides Everest back to back, walks on to Dinosaur, and everything else in the park. So she's the exception.
Well, yes. That I mean, when you see those opportunities, you have to take them. That's what
Of course.
so like my friend was like, you run, you look at the times, let you tell us where to go. And so it was just juggling because when we left Pandora, 2 hours was the wait time for flights of passage. That was the longest wait time I'd ever seen, that I'd seen. But I was like, oh goodness, I'm glad we were done with that. But because I don't like to wait that long. And I know Michael does not. I can tell.
No,
You will
that's
not.
Well,
not be happening. So no, but I mean, enjoy yourself. Great weather. Sounds like the crowds are low. You got a nice mix of vacation and work. So have
Right.
an awesome time.
Yeah. And yeah. So a little bit of work the next couple of days and hopefully fun the last couple of days and then head back to Indy.
Nice. Drive, fly. What'd you do?
I drove.
Okay.
Yep. We drove straight through. I had to pull over a couple of times to sleep a little. But yeah, we just usually drive straight through. And with my girls here, um, I contemplated flying, but it was spring break. And the flights were a
yeah.
little pricey. And I thought, oh my gosh, we could drive to Florida back 4 times for the price that we could drive. So
Sure. Yep.
I'm frugal. That like a lot of people, we packed our snacks. Like I do Disney differently than a lot of people. Um, but like we packed our snacks. Why buy grapes and goldfish when we can just bring them?
Sure.
We didn't that's not all we had, but
That's a great thing about having your car. You just hit Walmart and grab what you need
yeah, we
instead of
did.
buying it at Disney.
Exactly. We took
Yep.
in our bottles of water. I just have a portable, like a cooler backpack, and my friend took her cooler backpack, and we did mostly snacks and stuff. We did buy a few things at the parks, but you know, it's my one daughter today learned the fact that the she could not believe that it cost $6.79 plus tax for the oh gosh, the Uncrustables meals. I said, "But mom, we bought a whole box for like $8."
Just go to Epcot. They're handing them out for free.
They're handing them out for free.
They are. They have the PB&J Garden, which is
Oh,
right in the middle pathway there,
uh-huh.
the World Showcase from Future World, and they are whatever they call it now, and I forget, but but from Future World to World Showcase, and they're handing out Uncrustables right there, like as you walk.
Well, we actually funny story, the only reason she looked to see how much they were was because we left the Uncrustables at home. We took all the other snacks, but we left those here. So, it was a little I will not throw anyone under the bus, but they weren't gonna be in my bag. So, we had all these other snacks. Everyone's like, "Where's the sandwiches?" That I said, "Wow, you guys will have that for tomorrow for lunch."
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways. I wouldn't have been able to go and take 5 to 7 kids to Disney year after year, trip after trip, if we hadn't cut corners along the way.
Better ways to do it.
Way better. So, it's nice to be pampered and nice to do all the things. We've done dining plans. We have literally probably done the whole gamut. We've stayed in deluxe. We've stayed in moderate. We've stayed off like we're staying off property now. We've done all the things, but it doesn't, at the end of the day, I don't know that that's what makes a trip to Disney. It's the experiences and everything during the day. They don't remember that we packed our snacks,
Of course.
They'll figure it out. All right, I'm gonna jump off.
Yep.
You guys keep the show going. I have work in the morning. Some of us are not here for conventions. We can sleep
All
till
right,
10.
well,
So
that being said, I think we're gonna wrap things up here because we
Yeah.
have been over an hour here with you guys. We certainly appreciate everyone joining us this week. We appreciate Lisa and Michael, and Lisa taking out time from her trip to Orlando to talk with us this week. We hope you have a great rest of the week with us here. And Michael, we appreciate you every week coming on the show with us here. And that's gonna do it for this week, guys. I hope you have a great week. And enjoy your weekend. Like I said, catch us on 5 on every Friday on all your major podcasting platforms. And then, of course, every Tuesday at 8 on YouTube, we live stream. But that being said, this has been Mouse Minds, and I'm saying bye. Bye to you guys. Lisa, Michael, if you want to say
have a
bye.
good night, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. Guys, have a great week, rest of the week, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. There's the out.